Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something special, incorporating African rhythms in modern music production. African rhythms are full of life, culture, and complexity, and they can add a whole new dimension to your music. So, whether you're producing pop, hip-hop, EDM, or any other genre, stick around as we break down how to bring these rhythms into your tracks. First, let's talk about some of the most popular African rhythms that you can incorporate. You've got Afrobeat, originating from West Africa with that classic syncopated groove. There's also the soca rhythm from the Caribbean, which has African influences, and Gqom, a house genre from South Africa that uses heavy, bass-driven beats. African rhythms often rely on traditional percussion instruments like the djembe, congas, and talking drums. These drums are played in a way that layers polyrhythms, meaning multiple rhythms happening at once. This is a signature of African music that can add depth to your tracks. Now let's jump into our DAW. Today, I'm using Ableton Live, but you can use any DAW like FL Studio or Logic Pro. The key here is to find or create drum loops that capture the essence of African rhythms. Start with a basic kick and snare pattern, then layer percussion like shakers or congas to build texture. Afrobeat typically sits around 100 to 120 BPM, so let's set our tempo there. Listen as I add these conga samples. Notice how they syncopate against the kick drum. This creates that infectious groove. One of the most important aspects of African music is polyrhythms. This means playing two or more contrasting rhythms simultaneously. In modern production, you can achieve this by layering different percussion patterns with varied time signatures. I'll show you how to create a simple polyrhythm using a hi-hat loop against our main drum pattern. Listen closely. This creates a sense of movement and complexity. Polyrhythms can instantly transform a simple beat into something that feels alive and dynamic. Next, let's add some melodic and harmonic elements. African music often uses pentatonic scales and call-and-response melodies. You can create a bass line that plays off the main rhythm using a synth bass or even a traditional instrument like a kora or balafon sample. Notice how I'm keeping the bass line simple but syncopated. It follows the groove of the drums but adds its own rhythm, which is crucial in Afrobeat and other African-inspired genres. To bring it all together, let's add some modern touches. Effects like reverb can create space, and sidechain compression gives that classic pumping feel you often hear in electronic music. I'll add some vocal chops here. Listen as I use reverb to give them a sense of atmosphere. Now, we have a track that combines traditional African rhythms with modern production techniques. You can use this approach in EDM, pop, or even hip-hop tracks. It's all about finding that balance between authenticity and innovation. And that's it. Today we learned how to incorporate African rhythms into modern music production. We explored Afrobeat grooves, layered polyrhythms, added melodic elements, and used effects to create a fresh, danceable track. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Remember, it's all about experimenting and letting the rhythm guide you. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more music production tips, and drop a comment if you have any styles or genres you want us to explore next. See you in the next video. Subscribe for more tutorials on global rhythms, beat-making tips, and music production hacks. Let's keep the groove going.